Okay.
know you're looking good. So here we are. Let's. I'm going to drag ourselves up to where we actually belong, Stephen.
Okay.
We come out here on Facebook Live in a little predefined mode. I like to get the banner out there so that if we do go live before we know it. This is Across the Pond with Leland Best and Stephen Healy, live today on Tuesday, December 7th. Is it already?
Oh, it is.
I'm a day ahead, Stephen. It's only the 6th.
Well, okay. We'll both go for the 6th, and
get too far ahead of ourselves.
Right.
How are you?
Okay. I'm fine,
okay.
And welcome from wonderful Wiltshire, where the sun isn't shining and it's raining. But apart from that, everything is okay.
Raining again in Wiltshire. Is that what you told me?
Yeah. I'm just going to share onto my page.
Sure.
So there we are. Right. Okay. Yeah.
And I am Leland Best over here in Michigan, where it is not raining, but it's awfully cold in the States. Well, not all the states, of course, because we expand over a large horizon here. Those who are looking toward or forward to the holiday season coming up, which is normally cold here in Michigan. Those folks like in Southern California and Arizona are still enjoying 80-degree temperatures down there and sunshine. So I wish I was one of those folks sometimes.
Country.
So, Stephen, here we are again. We have this episode and one more before we close up for the year. We're going to take 21 episodes for this season.
Yep.
And then Stephen's off to Germany. Am I correct?
That's right. I'm off to Germany for 2 weeks to the north of Germany, close to the border with Holland, and 2 weeks away from the computer. That's the idea. How long
that's a good idea.
I don't know, because they'll have the. I should only be taking the tablet with me and the phone, but no computer. So
we almost can't get away from technology anymore, can we?
No, it's part of our lives, and if it goes wrong, if the power goes off, we don't know what to do. One of my friends one of my friends today, his power went off, and his children had no idea, and they're all in the teens, and it was as if the world was coming to an end because they didn't have access to the computers or the phones or computers really. We're that reliant on technology.
Well, that's not good. One way to get around that is to buy yourself one of those DC to AC power inverters for your lighter socket on your automobile. You can go plug in out in the car if you have to recharge your accessories anyway, and that way you've got at least a little limited power supply that you can maintain one way or the other, as long as you have gas in your car, I guess.
All right, yeah, in an emergency then.
Yeah, absolutely. I've known people to stay out there in the cold and just go ahead and run their unit while they're out there, laptops included. So I'm just going to share this out to the group, Stephen. So if anyone out there is catching us out on Facebook, you're probably finding us at Leland Best Live. And please feel free to share this out to your friends or constituents or other groups that you might participate in. We're just going to talk about those things that are happening on both sides of the pond. Myself here in the States, Stephen in the UK. I know, Stephen, you've got a few stories, and I'm going to follow up on one of yours. So you pick and choose. You tell me which one you want first, and I'll pop it up.
Where to go first? I think if we go with the Blippar, the software.
Okay. Blippar it is. I'll see you guys in just a minute because I got to get Stephen in the frame here. Let me just move my picture over so that let me see where we're at here. Tell me how we look in the background. Oops, wrong frame. That would help if I do the right frame.
We're having a demonstration of vMix.
Yeah, we're having a glitch, folks. Hold on. Sometimes the buttons get in the way, and you sometimes have to decide which way you want to run things. But I'm going to go down here. I'm going to make my little mini me and see if we're still showing up okay on Smile Time. So let me make sure I'm in the frame. Okay, yes, there we are. This is Blippar. Go ahead, Stephen, and take it away. They want our face in their app, the way it says.
Indeed. Blippar is an app whose release was announced today and picked up by the BBC. And the simple means is that it can recognize when you're in a crowd of people, you can point your mobile at that person and it will tell you who they are. So if you forget somebody's name, but you know the face, then you can quickly, effectively snap them and find out who they are. Now, it comes preloaded with 70,000 people all of whom are
Wow.
celebrities. And if you're walking down the street and you think you've seen Sylvester Stallone, then the app will confirm it. Now,
oh, I see. So it's basically those that they've already put into their database are ones that'll be readily identified. So it's not as though you could take a picture of a stranger and say, hey, who is this guy? They're not going to have that technology booted in yet, but at some point.
At some point, not necessarily today, you could add yourself into their database and you opt in, and you've got to pose and model and move about so that it can actually take several shots of you so that it can recognize you.
Oh.
And then you can decide what details you want to display. So it could be a Facebook profile, your Twitter profile, or LinkedIn, whatever you want to add, whatever detail you want to add. You are then public, and if people spot you in the street, they can click and find out exactly who you are. Now that is frightening.
Let's take a quick gander at their video and see if they give a quick demonstration of exactly how that's done. That is, of course, if the video decides to play.
You don't get anywhere in life.
Of course, we got our first little advertisement, so let me get past the advertisement. I don't want everybody to hear the advertisement, of course, so I'm going to cover up my face here for just a second so that people don't have to witness that. I don't want any videos showing up that we're not having a proper sponsorship for, so just
no, we're non-commercial. This has to be said, and anything that happens is by accident. But it has to be said, the algorithms on Facebook are improving, aren't they, for spotting?
Oh yeah, they've been working pretty good. Yeah. They actually blocked one of my videos recently, and I'll talk about that when this is done. Here we go.
Okay. Risks, fees, expenses, and other information that you should read and consider carefully before investing.
Blippar is an augmented reality app that lets you search the real world with your smartphone's camera. So I pointed it at an artwork here, and yeah, it's recognized it, and in fact, it's even starting a little animation on it. Omar Taib, co-founder of Blippar, you're introducing a new feature which some people will find amazing, some people might find slightly creepy. It's facial recognition. How's that going to work?
So with face recognition, when you open the Blippar app and you point out public figures, like this one, this magazine,
Michael Fassbender, it's recognized him.
I'll give you information about him.
Let's try his politician and then the one next to her. Okay. So it says that that is Hillary Clinton. And who's this fella here? And lo and behold, it turns out to be Boris Johnson. And can anybody be recognized in this way? How's it working?
So we'll recognize people in the real world as well. So like you, for example.
So
if I were to turn the camera around and point at you.
Right. I'm in
there. We'll be there.
That's slightly scary. How come it's recognized me?
Because you're one of the 70,000 public figures that are already in Blippar. So we'll be able to recognize.
You're in our database, buddy.
Right. I haven't given my permission, but because I'm a public figure.
Because you're a public figure, but you have the ability to take it down as well within 24 hours if you contact Blippar.
Right. What about anybody else? Any just normal user of Blippar? Will they be in the database?
From today, we'll be opening it up to everyone to be able to add their profile to Blippar and claim their face within the digital space in Blippar.
It might sound exciting to some people. It sounds really creepy that they could be walking down the street, somebody would hold up a phone to them and know all about them.
Yeah. Well, we've baked privacy right into it from the start. So the user, it's all an opt-in. So the user has to upload their face for it to be recognized.
That's not so bad.
And they have the ability to turn it off at any time and delete it at any time.
You say it's fun, but is it part of us heading towards a world where we've got less and less privacy, really?
Well, it's up to the user to be responsible for their own privacy. For now, the intention is to be used for fun, for them to express themselves, add videos, things they like, images of themselves. It's a nice social experience for them.
Okay, well, let's just take it at that because I know we're just about wrapped up there anyway. Kind of says it all, doesn't it, Stephen? It's one of those things that at least it gives you the option to opt in or out, and that they're not just filling their database with a bunch of people that they're picking up off the streets.
Yeah. I mean, if it is opt-in, which is good, and if you were, say, you went to a networking meeting in the real world, and you're in the room and you think, I know that chap. Who is he? And you can't think of his name. Then you could use Blippar, and providing he's opted in, you could find out who he was. So it means that those without, I haven't got a good memory for names. So in my particular case, it might be helpful.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm the same way, honestly, and I have to stop telling myself that, because honestly, we tell ourselves subconsciously sometimes that we are terrible at remembering names, and if we continue to do so, we will remain terrible at remembering names. So sometimes we have to tell ourselves, "Hey, I can do this. I can do this." I'm working on that myself. So, and I don't have anything on names. I wish I could. That would have been a great sequel into another topic. But on the Google front, which I tend to cover a lot because I'm a big Google fan, I'm an Android user, et cetera, et cetera. Google made an announcement the other day, which is important to a lot of folks because it relates to several matters of importance when it comes to video streaming, even, obviously, Stephen. Google Chrome is now to replace the Adobe Flash with the HTML5 in its latest update, which was announced on the 4th of December. What that means is some of these older sites, which we have encountered some recently even, Stephen, BeLive TV, actually, I believe it was, or no, it wasn't BeLive, it was... there was another contender that came out recently, one of the older ones, and I'm sorry, the name escapes me at this moment because it just, Barb and I were in a recent, Barb Tomlin and myself were in a demonstration of a similar enterprise platform that allowed you to go at Squibble, I think it was, or not Squibble, that's one of the online sites. Oh, I wish I could remember the name now. Anyhow, a lot of the original online conferencing systems used Adobe Flash in their video processing before WebRTC came out. So that was the prevalent form of video transfer. And now with Adobe Flash, which has obviously been hindered by tons of back-end issues with security, constantly being updated because it was such a bear. It was one of those things that it was a burden to the browsing experience in most cases, because it seemed like you always had to update the software and there were always issues. So now with this being gone, what's going to happen to some of those sites, I wonder, that are still attached to the entire Adobe Flash experience when it comes to processing video? For one, I think it's good because it's going to force those who have been on Flash in the past into WebRTC, which kind of ups the game, because now we're going to find some of those that haven't gone that route yet are going to have to, or they're going to lose all. I have to apologize.
Okay.
I'm about to sneeze and it won't come out.
Right.
There we
Okay.
go. Thank you.
I just say hello to Peter, who's joined us. One of the things about Smart Time is we know that there are 5 people here, including ourselves. But unless you shout out, we've no idea. So welcome, Peter.
That's true. Obviously, it is true. So, and I never get finished sharing out. So if you are here and you're watching and you want to share this with somebody or share it out to your friends, please do so by clicking on the share button down below. Or if you'd like to come join us and become part of the show, which, Stephen, honestly, we don't do enough of, but I think we would be more than happy to invite you in if you want to come on camera and be a part of Across the Pond and give us your perspective from where you're at in the world. So let me just do one quick thing. I need to finish sharing this over. So what do you think of this, Stephen? Is this going to play any part? I know you're a coder. Have you ever worked with Adobe Flash or experienced any sites that use Adobe Flash recently?
No, I think they're on the decrease, aren't they, since the announcements were made by Google and others that they were going to make it redact it, sort of reduce its use. And HTML5 does everything that people want to do. So it does, doesn't it? It does. So no, I quite welcome the Adobe Flash disappearing, because we had problems with it. And
they announced it back in May, and at least in this case, they are finally following through with what they said they were going to do, which seems to be the case most of the time when it comes to Google and Chrome, especially when they say something's going to happen, something's going to happen. Now, this will be in the Chrome update 55, so look for that, and always keep an eye on where you're at when it comes to Chrome, because they update the security measures and that. And normally you're set for automatic updates when it comes to Chrome issuing those on the back end, but always take a good look. And if you have not received the latest update to Chrome 55, probably by the end of the month, I would say go ahead and make sure that gets installed on your system. If you are a Chrome user, obviously, not everyone is, but
I wouldn't be without it. Chrome, since it came out, has been my browser of choice. And I mean, we come from back in the day when there were Netscape and something called Internet Explorer, or you know, I mean, we've come a
Well,
long way.
Netscape, yeah, Netscape being made by the Mozilla Group, which is a non-profit organization, really, when it comes down to it. They're not out there making any money. Converted over to the Firefox network. And honestly, if you don't know this, there are several builds on the Mozilla network, or on the Mozilla software engine, which one of that I forwarded on to a friend of mine is called SeaMonkey, which I've never seen before, but it is a browser that's available in the same platform as Firefox. It's a little bit older school, but it has a more of a feel of the, say, Windows Live environment with more flashy icon type access than what you might find in the Firefox version. So it's always that option. Okay, Stephen, what else you got?
Okay, my next story. Let's go for the top UK Christmas ad. Now, bit of background to this. All our major stores produce a Christmas ad.
Okay.
And the Christmas advert is a tradition, and there's lavish spending on them. And there is then a poll to decide which is the best Christmas ad. And this year, hopefully we can play it because it's on YouTube. This is the Christmas ad. I'm not going to say anymore. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but if you want to play it,
sure, it's a 2-minute. If you want to hold out for 2 minutes and watch this, we can do that most certainly. Let me just turn on my volume for the player, and we'll go ahead and give it a whirl. I'm going to actually disappear from the screen for a minute while we do this, so people don't have to look at my yucky face in the video. So, be right back.
Go now.
Oh, that would hurt.
Yeah. Things dancing with Christmas.
I follow the night, can't stand the light. One day I'll fly away, leave all this to yesterday. What more can your love do for me? When will love be through with me? Why live life from dream to dream and dread the day when dreaming? One day I'll fly away, leave all this to yesterday. Why live life from dream to dream and dread the day when dreaming?
Okay, I gotta give him credit there, Stephen. That was pretty funny.
But it's a big pre-production number, and a lot of money is spent, and there was no mention of what John Lewis does. It's just that they're one of our largest department stores in the UK, and that's their Christmas contribution.
And what I have to show you is something that you may have seen. It was kind of hilarious because I'm going to bring up the commercial on YouTube just by name and in a search, only because there were some other videos that showed up, and this was one of them in particular that I got a real kick out of. And this is, let me make sure I'm not getting to, yep, there we go. This was a follow-up to that commercial after it came out. And don't think for a minute that dogs don't like to jump on trampolines, because I've seen it in the past. I've seen it firsthand myself, and they really do find this commercial rather intriguing. And let's see what this dog had to say. I believe a small commercial pops up in this at about 10 seconds in. So let me see if I can, I'm going to actually jump ahead slightly so that we don't get the advertisement. Well, that's all it is. It's just a banner ad. So I'm going to go ahead and play this video real quick, Stephen, because this is hilarious. I have a dog very similar to this at home myself. As you can see, the dog is watching this video. And I know this is through a cell phone, so it's a little hard for some of you to see this maybe, but is it large enough? The dog sees the jump and says, I want a part of that. I want to be in that commercial. And he continues to go on and on for the entire length of the commercial, jumping up and down at the TV. So don't think for a minute that your dog doesn't see this and probably experiences some joy watching dogs jumping on trampolines. So just a little tidbit of
And
all right.
John's just said the Amazon Prime Christmas ad is much better, so we might. But as it's our last show of the season, we might include that next week. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to look into that for sure. Most definitely. All right.
Okay.
A lot of stuff going on over here. Speaking of video, I'm going to head over, Stephen, for just a minute to a site that I've been following a little bit recently, and this is Easy Talks Onion. This is a platform that's kind of geared toward enterprise. They do have a free trial available, and I know you're not going to be able to see everything that's going on here, but the interesting thing about Easy Talk Onion is that you buy the hardware from them. So if you want to check them out, it's over at easytalks.com. I'm not going to get into showing an advertisement or any type of process, but you can see here the camera that's available. It actually has two very long sidebars that go across the top of an HD television. So basically, what I could do is probably show you real quick. And these aren't that expensive, honestly. I thought they'd be more. But it allows you to do HV audio and video. It has stereo pickup. The pricing isn't really that bad. Okay, you host it for the cost after the fact. So you buy the unit, and then you pay for the hosting of the unit, which includes VoIP, IM chat, screen sharing, recording and playback, whiteboard, and annotation, along with support.
Oh, wow.
You can get up to 10 people per meeting. And as you can see, for 10 people, that's really not a bad cost at all to get involved. But I think it's like $200 and some odd for the hardware. But this camera has plugins on the back where you simply plug it into the back of the camera, shoot it into the back of the television. There's a small app that goes with your cell phone, and you're on almost instantly. Well, it's one thing to consider as far as hosting a meeting goes or joining a meeting. They make it that simple. They basically call it out here, and I know you can't see the rest of the screen, but if you head over to their join a meeting, it's 4 steps. You basically register the account, choose your favorite device, invite the people by phone, email, or instant message, and then click one button and you're in the show. So go take a look if you want to check out Easy Talks Onion. That'll be the next player in enterprise when it comes to video voice conferencing. This is not a live Facebook app or a broadcasting platform of any kind. This is strictly in-house for commercialization, business use, that type of stuff. So something to look forward to, though. And I know they just announced, well, the recent update has to do with H323, which if you're not familiar with some of the encoding that's coming out recently, I just received this email. The H323 standard is going to allow people who already have some web conferencing software and hardware like Cisco units and things like that. These things won't be outdated. They won't become dinosaurs. They'll be able to integrate with some of the systems that are out there currently. So with this new standard coming out, which normally, like when we broadcast our compressed video, which you have to compress video in order to send it across the internet. If you don't compress it, it would take forever. So the H264, which is the current standard in most cases, compresses the video to a format that's allowing us to stream currently in high def. And the H323 is going to be similar in scope, but it's more of an enterprise level thing, the building blocks of the next generation of video on the internet. So looking forward to seeing what we're going to be doing over there.
Once you've got the hardware, it's low cost. It's rival to the other systems which charge the earth, which we won't mention.
Absolutely. Okay.
Right.
Next, I know you got another interesting topic of discussion.
The next one surprised me entirely. This is only in the UK. But we've now got the situation where last week in the UK, vinyl records made more than downloads.
Wow.
Which is quite, I mean, we're talking, it's not record shops that sell vinyl, it's bookshops, because these become expensive items. An album can set you back, an LP can set you back $25. But people are buying them, and they're buying them in increasing numbers. And we were told when CDs came along that vinyl was dead and that CDs would last forever. Now, we know now that if you get a mark on a CD or you scratch it, CDs do not last forever, although there are people who said they would. But people like having something in their hand, something physical to...
I think so.
For music. And the turntables now, I mean, the technology on the turntables is virtually caught up with CDs. So the sound quality, if you've got a decent system, is at the very least comparable. I mean, I don't have a record. Do you have a record player?
I used to, and I had a very nice Onkyo system for a while, and then I kind of depleted my, I gave away the system and I depleted my album collection, which wasn't very large at all. I'm a connoisseur of music, but not to the extreme that a lot of people are. I'm just not that type of, I have a lot of MP3s now, obviously, but again, it takes away that ambience, like you mentioned, of handling the music and being a part of the whole process and being able to, you know, play into it. I think that's the coolest thing about LP.
I mean, you talk about handling the music. That's why people do it, because there's something tangible. And you've got beautiful graphics on the album covers. A lot of albums have been re-released. But if you scroll down to the last paragraph in the article, I shall read it to you.
Okay.
I can't see it, but I'll read it to you. 48% of those people who buy vinyl never play them. So half the people who are buying these vinyl records do not play them. And even more amazing than that, 7% of the people buying them don't even have a record player. So
they're just for the artwork then, in a sense.
Memorabilia. It's collection items. And okay. So that's the UK side of things.
A little different over here, Stephen. I was looking up after I saw your article. I went and did a search online to see exactly what's been going on over in the U.S. And now that was a little different story back in April. Okay, so let's head over to the first side of things. And this shows you how volatile this market really is. So in the U.S., which I apologize for the bouncing around of the screen here, I'm not in control of the websites that I open in these cases, but in April, the stories were that vinyl record sales were at a 28-year high. So you're talking about going back in time to the 80s, all right, almost late 70s, early 80s, and finding that, okay, we're selling tons and tons of albums. Let's see if they have a number here. 32% of the sales of vinyl records, up 32%, I'm sorry, to $416 million worth, and their highest level since 1988, according to the RIAA. And of course, CD sales were much higher in total income, but they were down 17%. Now, let's go to the later story, which came up after this fact. And I hate Forbes, I'll be honest with you. Their website has destroyed the internet with all the crap that they throw in your face when you try to go to a Forbes website anymore. I apologize, but that's just the way it is. Did I just blast my tab? I think I did. All right, hold on. Let me just head over to vinyl sales in the U.S. So if you want to search this for yourself, this is what I did. I went to vinyl sales in the U.S. and these articles came up. So let's see what we get out of this. The other one was actually now, as of September 2016, sales are down another 9.6%, or 9.1%, I apologize. And what I saw in another article, which obviously didn't show up this time because maybe I missed a word in the queue, is that now they're at an all-time low over the last 30, almost 20 years, they said in the other article. So it's hard to say what's what when it comes to vinyl record sales here in the U.S., but obviously there was a trend that you're experiencing now in the U.K. So maybe it started here and wandered its way eastward, which is normally what happens here in the U.S. Things happen in California first for the most part. And then as they migrate eastward, which is weird because the country was started on the East Coast and migrated west to get to California for the gold rush back in the 1800s. And now we see an opposite trend where everything is trendy in California on the West Coast. That's a higher population, obviously. And then it heads east to New York, where they finally find it, toward the end of the year, that becomes trendy there. So maybe that's what we're seeing here, is that in the first part of the year, everything was high. So what might happen to you guys by next year? Maybe they'll tank again.
Don't know, but it's just something that I spotted today as being, unusual, because the stories have been told about music over the years. I mean, my MP3s, like yours, mine are in the cloud, and the CDs are safely tucked away, and so is my vinyl. My vinyl's tucked away, because some of those albums now on eBay will be worth quite a bit. But the memory, I mean, the thing about music is it's the memories, isn't it? If we hear a music track, we can remember where we were at the time, what we're doing at the time, what it signifies.
Absolutely. It's a lot like smells, too. They're the same.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I've been I recently, just not that long ago, actually, just a few months back, I went through my entire CD collection. And for those of you who haven't done this yet, it's not very time consuming, honestly. If you have a collection of, say, a couple hundred CDs, you could sit down in the course of a day or two and burn them all through. Even Windows Media Player does it rather quickly to rip, is what they call ripping, those audio tracks onto MP3s. And because you own the CDs, you have a right to make a duplicate backup copy and basically put away your CDs to save them from scratches and just maintain all of your music on MP3. Now, depending on what quality the CD is recorded in, will determine the size of the file that's generated, obviously based on the kilohertz of recording setup. You could be anywhere from 96 up to 128 kilobits of data that's being generated to produce the sound, and you can go higher than that nowadays with 256, etc. You can get in some pretty big ranges that cause huge files to form, but in most cases that stuff's pretty minimal, so you can rip the CD pretty fast.
Right, the situation at the moment we have is that your sound is going crackly again.
Oh, okay. I'm going to have to refresh it. We've
okay, yeah.
That's the only way for me to fix that, so hold tight. I will be right back.
Right, if you're watching us on Facebook, if you make a comment on Facebook, we'll see it here. Thank you, everybody who's actually watching us live on Smile Time. We tend to go through the week's news on both sides of the pond, and the score at the moment is UK 3, USA 2, so Leland has the story to come. And then we'll invite you, if you're still watching, onto the screen for the last part of the show. Hello.
Okay. Do you have me? I should be back now, correct?
Yeah, that's better. Okay. That's good.
All right. And that's an issue that we've experienced for quite some time when it comes to WebRTC. I'm not sure why it's become prevalent again recently in the past week, but it seems to be the case. And now I don't know if maybe it's relevant to certain hardware, software setups or not, because obviously, Stephen, I haven't heard any audio issues on your end today. But
for change,
it's only rectified by refreshing your browser. So that's really an evidence. Say it is WebRTC. Okay, my story today is one of a political nature. I'm trying to avoid as many political posts as possible, but you obviously having a significant other that is of German descent. I have family who is of German descent. I'm a Jewish man myself, but go ahead.
This sound, we're still having sound problems. Both John and Jason are reporting it. Okay.
Oh, okay. Hold on 1 second.
Okay. All right.
How do I sound to you, though, Stephen?
I got it too, but I was hoping that it was me, but it's not me. So.
Okay. No, that's fine. I'll go one more time and see if we can't clear this thing up, because I don't want to have a sound issue.
I hope so, because I'm looking forward to your next story. Okay. Thank you, Jason. We'll wait for Leland to come back. I mean, this is one of the joys of live video. And I've now got to fill in until Leland joins us again. And then, as I say, after Leland's next story, we'll bring people on there. Hello.
All right, I should be back. How do I sound now? Any better?
You're sounding a little bit better.
Just a little bit, though. Okay, well, that's not good. Let me check something real fast, Stephen.
Okay.
I'm going to refresh my audio drivers because that's the only other option I have. And if I can't, then I don't see what other options we have. Okay, how do I sound now? If I'm crackly,
it's still crackly, but we can understand what you're saying. So
that's never a good thing, though, Stephen. The only thing I wanted to announce is that, myself, obviously, I'm Jewish, so I won't be celebrating the Christmas season, but Hanukkah is the same day as Christmas this year. It starts on the same day. So for us Jewish folks, we have to decide whether we're going to eat Chinese food or latkes on the 25th. We're not sure what we're going to do yet. It's one of those, this is one of those odd years that it happens. And I'm sure, as you all know, there was a side to Trump's presidency elect that was rather disturbing for a lot of folks, and that was that of the issue of a neo-Nazi group who held a meeting in New York recently. I believe it was New York anyway, where they were actually giving the Heil Hitler sign and commending Donald Trump on his winning of the presidency as though he was their leader of some sorts, or whatever you want to call it. And it disturbed a lot of people, myself included, along with several 100,000 others, I'm sure, if not millions of people, because it is something that's rather disgusting, if you ask me, when it comes to where white supremacy has gone. It's arrogant, it's ignorant, and there's a lot more to it than that. I say a lot of other bad things, but everyone was hoping that Trump would at some point condemn this group, and it seems as of the other day he has finally done so. So I'm not going to play the video. It's just, if you want to find it, it is news out on CNN currently. It was toward the end of October, the end of November actually, that this took place. Not a lot of news agencies picked up on it, because there are some news agencies out there that want to see Trump fail. So what's happening here is just a broadcast that talks about him denouncing the neo-Nazi group and their condemnation of the whole white supremacy idea. So I just wanted to make a point that, a lot of people want to say Donald Trump is of that nature. Donald Trump has Jewish family. He has Christian family. He has a wide diversity. People want to call him a xenophobe, yet he's married to an immigrant from another country. So there's a lot of things at play here that not many people want to accept. And I think we just need to give the man a chance. Let him step up to the plate. People have been lining him in office since the 80s, honestly, here in the States. And that was Democrats and Republicans alike, because they weren't really sure where he swung, left or right. And he had a lot of good things to say about the country and what he would recommend to fix the country, and things that he could do to help save the budget, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And now that he's been given a chance to do so, everyone's on the attack. So we're really hoping that people will just let things cool down a little bit, and when January comes around, we'll really find out who Donald Trump and what his presidency is going to be all about. We know he's got some odd choices for his cabinet members, but I think going forward, in the end, we're going to find that, given a chance, I think he'll do okay. We've gone through bad press.
I'm not going to get deep into this, but every time he tweets at 3 a.m. in the morning, the world listens. And we listening with interest would be.
Oh, I'm sure. He's a little brass. I'll give him that. He says things that don't always fit well with many people, and I can understand that could really be detrimental to his not his campaign, but his moving forward. If he doesn't start to at least have some semblance of decency here and there when he speaks, he has to watch his mouth now and then. He really does. We hope he does.
Right. Shall we invite people on camera?
Sure. If anyone's here, we'd be happy to let them in. I know Neil's here, Jason's here, John's here. Jason Bates being a real estate mogul over there in Arizona near Mesa, I believe, or somewhere in Phoenix. I got to come see you sometime, Jason. We've been out. My daughter used to live in Gilbert, so we'll have to stop by and see what's going on. And Peter's here also. Hello, Peter. So if anyone would like to join us, throw a chat or come on by to smiletime.com/channel/across the pond, and let us know you're in the chat and you want to come on screen, and we'd be happy to invite you aboard. So
if you just type yes, that will be sufficient, and you'll be whisked on screen by Leland. If anybody from Smile Time is listening, I think we both agree on this. If we could have a shared management of the system, it would make life easier.
There was an announcement made recently. I was going to bring it up to you. Was it here in Smile Time? No. Gosh, I'm drawing a blank now. I was going to ask you about it this morning. there was some other announcement recently on this platform, I believe, that they were going to be adding another feature to, but now I can't think of which one it was.
Right.
How's BeLive treating you?
Oh, BeLive's doing quite well. They're featuring my videos on their own page. They're, you know, full of support, and the channel itself is working well. And the stage management is pretty good. For 2UP, it's brilliant.
Now, have you tried using any mobile devices to bring in like separate feeds on BeLive like they offer?
No, not yet. No, I haven't got that adventurous. I did a broadcast last night using Manycam, which is about as adventurous as I've got. Next up, I'm going to try vMix. What I want to do is be able to. Is David watching us?
That was one.
David, just go like that for a moment. I'm going to try screen share via vMix.
That's right. vMix did just announce their most recent version, which is version 18, is available. So, Jason, I don't know if you've seen it yet or not. I'm sure you have. You're a vMix user by in heart. Obviously, I see you broadcast with it all the time. And if you have purchased vMix within the last 12 months, you're entitled to one full free upgrade or any free upgrades for that 12-month period. So be sure you get out there and get the latest update, which is not just a periodic update or a partial update, but a full update to the latest version, which is 18.00 and some numbers after that already by now. So.
Right, I'm going to close the show out at this point because the recording had one or two problems. So we look forward to seeing you in the next edition. And
something about
take care.
I wanted to mention today too.